background, even technology kind of a background. How many technologies are involved in a marketer's life today? Any guesses? Take a guess. No penalty if you guess wrong. Any guess? How many technologies are involved in marketing, but in a marketer's life? 5, 10, 15? 5. Thank you. At least we've got Amit there responding with 5, which is kind of nice. But really, this world looks a little bit like this. So there's a site called chiefmartech.com. I would encourage a lot of you to go look at it. There's a lot around marketing technology. But in reality, there's a lot of areas that a marketer needs to be involved with. There's a lot that you need to be aware about what these things do. I would strongly encourage you to go take a look. People have built careers out of just one line in here. Right? I think when it behooves us is to go look at each of these areas. If you look at it, the way this person, Scott, has classified them as marketing experiences, middleware, backend platforms, and infrastructure. Right? These are the big areas. And within marketing experiences, you're talking about email marketing, mobile marketing. We deal with email service providers. If you look way up on top, email marketing itself, just that area alone has got so many different vendors at play, and each offering a different service, each offering a different capability. Mobile marketing, search and social, display advertising, video ads and marketing. Video ads, have you done any video ads? Have you really looked at pushing across video ads in a personalized manner? Would all be very, very interesting. Then there is social media, communities, from a creative perspective, events, webinars, how does that work? How does testing and optimization work? Sales enablement, content marketing, SEO, SEM. There are marketing applications. There are just companies that deal purely in marketing data. These are very large companies, Dun & Bradstreet, one of them, Epsilon, one of them. These are all very large businesses. Hundreds of crores worth of business is carried out in this whole marketing data space. Then there's marketing analytics. One software that helps us with marketing analytics, anybody? What do we use for analytics? SAS. Good. KXEN. Anybody heard of that? There are a bunch of big players in there. There's web and mobile analytics, dashboards, marketing resource management, lots of stuff. I would strongly encourage you to go take a look at this site. You'll read a lot about all of these different areas. Right? That's the whole area. Now, within all of this, what we are going to be talking about is this area, marketing automation and integrated marketing. What this is about is how you communicate with your customers, how you engage with your customers. Just so to make it clear, email marketing is that piece, is that ESP piece, email services provider piece, where you can go and reach out to your end customer. This is about using all these channels to create a surround sound effect. You want everybody to say the same message, every channel to be conveying the same message. That's what this thing is about. What we are specifically going to be looking at today is IBM's suite. So all that we're looking at today is this, right? And that's how big the universe is, and that's that small piece that we're going to be looking at for today. So what is marketing automation all about? Do we do campaigns in this company? How many people here from campaign management in here? Can I see a show of hands? Some people use a tool, Unica. What about the others? Do we use a tool to campaign? Yes? No? We use SQL. Right? Fundamentally, that's what we use. We use SQL to pull out data. The difficulty when you use something like SQL is the degree of complexity that you can have and repeat over and over again. Right? The degree of complexity that you can repeat over and over again gets hindered. That's the fundamental challenge. number one. Number two is if I wanted to communicate across multiple channels, my rule sets vary. Your email campaign rule SQL is slightly different than your SMS, slightly different than your direct mail, slightly different than your, if you had a mobile channel, if you had a call center, slightly different. It's just different enough, but if you have had a high degree of complexity, it becomes very difficult to manage. And that is where things like marketing automation start coming in. How do you have sophisticated campaigns, right? A campaign, in our world, a campaign is bad if the audience size is very large. Am I making myself clear on that? If you have a campaign that is going out to the full base, then it is actually a bad campaign. It is not a sophisticated campaign. Sophistication, your ideal sophistication point is when your campaign list size equals 1. That's when you have a very good thinking around the campaign, but that is ideal, that is utopia, that will never happen. It's more around saying, hey, is it 5%, 2%, 3% of the audience, that kind of a thing. That's when you're looking at the ideal campaign size. And marketing automation is all around, making that happen. And there are different things that you require for that to come alive. Like I said earlier, we're going to look at IBM EMM marketing management, IBM Enterprise Marketing Management Suite. This was a product called Unica. The brand was very, very strong, continues to be strong. People still refer to it as Unica in the market. All of us here, even in today's session, have referred to it as Unica. We're going to be looking at that in a little bit of detail, so you get a flavor for what this product helps us do. That's the whole idea here. Core modules. Unica has many modules. The main modules that we'll be looking at today are something called campaign, detect, interact, optimize, and something called UMO. Right? All different modules help you do different things as far as campaigning goes. We'll go a little bit in a different order here. UMO. For us to execute campaigns today, there is a process, right? Somebody needs to come up with the idea of what is the selection criteria, how somebody needs to define what is the campaign. Somebody needs to say what is the selection suppression criteria. Somebody needs to figure out what's the creative. Somebody needs to figure out how this is going to integrate. There are approvals along the way. All of that needs to happen, right? How do we do that today in Syncpity? Anyone? How do we do all of that? I heard something. CMO. That is our version of UMO. Right? So now you know at least what UMO is. It's a very quick and easy way for you to relate to what UMO does. It helps you figure out and manage a process around campaigns. That's what UMO does. Campaign itself is abstracts a lot of what you do from a SQL perspective, pulling out lists, all of that. Number one. Number two, helps you manage all the metadata. When I talk about metadata, what is the campaign code, what's the campaign name, who's the owner of the campaign, what's the start date, what's the end date, all of that information is encapsulated in campaign. Detect is some very, very interesting technology that helps us identify events. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. Interact is all around real-time campaigns. How do you engage with your customers on a real-time basis? That's the whole idea with Interact. Optimize. If you have all these campaigns, then you are beginning to bombard your customers. How many of us delete at least 10 SMS messages as being junk messages from our phones? Right? Jump. What's happening? You're switching off as a customer, and that's the worst thing to happen from a marketing perspective. And you have an important message and nobody ever is going to look at it. What's happening there is you're over-communicating, you're communicating irrelevant things. And our business is all about communicating the most relevant thing to our clients' customers. Right? That's what our business is. What Optimize does is, as a person, you may be eligible for 3 or 4 offers. It helps you pick out what is the right offer, what is the most profitable offer for you. I mean, you may be eligible, for 10% off on trousers, 15% off on tops, 25% off on shoes. Great, but which is it that you're likely to buy, and which is it that you're likely to benefit the most from a company perspective as well. So it may not be the 25% off on shoes, it may not be the 10% on the trousers, it may be the 15% on tops that you will go in for and purchase. So that's what Optimize helps you do and figure out. So instead of sending you 3 emails or 3 SMSs or 3 phone calls, I would send only one which is very relevant for you, which means the next time I talk to you, you're most likely to listen to what I have to say, right? So let's get into this in a little bit more detail. This is how a Eureka campaign screen looks like. It's called a flow chart, I believe. It looks like a flow chart. All of us know what flow charts are. It looks like a flow chart. It helps you select audiences, segment audiences, do all of that stuff. It helps you assign offers. And one big important thing, till almost like 2 years ago, we did not, even within CPT, we did not have a consistent way of maintaining campaign history. Who have I reached out to was always a challenge. I think over the last 2-3 years, we have now got into a very consistent way of tracking promotion history or campaign history. It becomes important again to figure out how often am I talking to you, how many email messages have gone out, how many SMSs, overall what's my contactability, things like that. The other thing here is, once you draw something like this, once you create this, now you can start to reuse it more and more. And the ability, the whole idea is, let's create something that is really, really sophisticated, not necessarily complex. A good campaign does not have to have, these are all about process boxes, a good campaign does not have to have 1,000,000 process boxes. That does not constitute that it's a good campaign. But in general, you try and drive a lot more sophistication in what you do. What else is there on campaign that we have talked about? The whole interface idea is supposed to be a fairly user-friendly interface. The original design of the product was intended for marketing users. One of the biggest benefits that you'll see somewhere in here, when Unified Feast was sold early on, was to say, you don't need help from IT to create your lists. And that's how it was sold. That's how it continues to be sold sometimes today. You don't need help from IT to put out lists. But all of us here know how much knowledge you need to try and figure out how to get this thing to work. Now, from a campaign perspective, let's go there. Right, so IBM campaign does a bunch of things, right? You can access multiple customer data sources. If you look at a company, customer data is all over the place, right? So let's take an example that is real and live within security, right? We have finance in the database, right? Payroll is there, timesheet is there, my favorite, right? Then you have Jira information. So if I wanted to do a campaign out to people, this is not a marketing campaign, this is an operational campaign that says, hey, let me tie your vacations, the amount of work that you are doing in logged in Jira versus how much you're logging in timesheet versus what your vacations and all of that are versus your in-out time swipes that we get when you swipe your card in and out. If I wanted to combine everything, typically you would need to go through, bring all these databases together before you can start doing anything. Eureka gives you the ability to connect to multiple databases. can be in different platforms, and you can use it in a single flowchart, right? What we saw earlier on the picture, that's a flowchart. From there, you can choose to communicate out in different ways: telephone, email, mobile, bank, whatever, right? And then capture back responses on what these responses are. It often replaces slow processes involving custom coded database queries. Do we do custom coded database queries? Yes or no? Yes? I think we do a lot of custom coded database queries. If you were to move it into a system like this, it helps reduce time from a repeatability perspective. Please note for everybody, and more importantly, the client servicing people who are customer facing. The moment you deploy Eureka, your times are not going to come down. It is more around saying, let's build sophistication. That's the idea here, right? So that's what a campaign does from a simple perspective. So what does it help really do? What are the benefits, right? You can use more customer data sources. We spoke about this. You can run more smaller campaigns with fewer targets. I think this is a great visual representation. If your target list size, the thick arrows that you see on that side, if your target list size is large, it's not necessarily a great campaign. You want many campaigns that are of smaller list sizes. You can create sub-audiences with different offers, right? The way you would treat email, even at the creative level, from a gender perspective, is different. From an age group perspective, is different, and it helps you do all of that. And not only that, you can also start parameterizing offers to each recipient. What does this mean? What this means is, I have my customers who really like, who are all equally involved in doing a purchase, but I want to offer a discount. Your discount could be different from his, from hers, from hers, from hers, but it's all X% off, and you could choose to parameterize. What is that percentage, for example? The benefit that you get out of it is, you can actually go back and measure how many people are offer seekers, who are those bargain hunters. You can start getting that understanding, you can start engaging with them. That's the whole idea here, right? Fair idea? Any questions? Do you want me to stop, pause, silence, approval, move on? No food, no breakfast? What happened? What happened to the benchmark? Jokes apart, I think event-based marketing is very, very interesting. All of us as people exhibit certain behaviors based on transactions that we do, and banking environment is a fantastic example area to explore. All of us do banking transactions, right? Which means a bank gets a lot of data, 50, 60 lakhs, 100 lakhs per day in the transaction table when you look at it. A lot of data. How do you analyze all this data? It becomes very difficult. What event helps you do is, it starts to help you track what is the pattern that is going on from a transaction perspective at an individual level, right? So it says, is Shweta spending a lot at a particular category? Is Shweta spending a lot on restaurants? Is Shweta spending a lot on grocery stores? Is Shweta spending a lot at the movies? Is Shweta spending a lot on travel? Is her pattern of expenditure individual to her increasing or decreasing? And if it is increasing or decreasing, we can choose to treat it very differently, right? There's a huge benefit. How is this different? Like so we'll look at an example here, right? How does traditional marketing work in the banking scenario, right? There was a large deposit, 5 times the typical deposit transaction. Note here, when you say typical deposit transaction, what Kaviraj deposits versus what Shweta deposits versus what Kaustubh deposits are all different amounts that are typical to your profile, right? It is 5 times what your regularly profiled deposit is, which is unique to you. That is one. The second thing is perhaps an interruption in a direct deposit. With a drop in debit card usage after a call to a customer service center, and then you stop automatic bill pay for whatever reason. All of us have bill pays that we do. Typical campaigns work in this zone, right? After you've collected all this information, you say, okay, I'm going to do a campaign. How does it take into effect all of this, right? It does not. Fundamentally, it does not, and that means you're having a poor, you're having a less than optimal approach. Let me call it out. You're having a less than optimal approach to what is going on. From an event-triggered approach perspective, let's say your balance. Different example. Your balance is less than 2 times of your historical balance. It has dropped. And you have taken 2 overdrafts. Do people know what overdrafts are? You have taken a loan, let us say, a personal loan you have taken. Then what you could do is you could actually have an intervention that says, let me offer a low interest rate credit card. Chances are that you will take it on, of course, subject to your credit history, subject to your ability to pay and all of that. Then you open a credit card account. Now the bank knows that, hey, this person, balance has dropped, has taken on PL, has now taken on a credit card. How does the bank protect its risk interests? By sending you information, by engaging with you on saying, you know what, how do you take care of your financial planning? How do you just don't run up the credit card all the way to the hit and then not pay interest because you're paying a lot? Actually educating you counter to its interests sometimes, and helping you move forward. Right? That's the whole idea behind event-based marketing. What it does is it helps you monitor what your individual pattern is, and then based on that, react to it on a daily basis. That's the beauty of event marketing. These campaigns run every day. Have the capability to run every day. Look at it and say, okay, there's been a significant deposit, let me go reach out for an investment option. Or there's been a significant drop in deposit, let me go reach out for the financing option. There's been an increase in travel spend, let me talk about travel insurance. There's been an increase in grocery spend, let me talk about why they are not using the card for fuel. Right? And I don't see enough in fuel. All of these things you can start doing on a daily basis. Now that message were to come to you when you did a travel spend. If you did a travel spend and somebody asked you, do you want to buy travel insurance? The chances that you will buy are probably higher than randomly. Let's say every day you're buying your, every month a lot of us buy train pass, bus pass, whatever it is, right? Those transactions don't really matter. But suddenly one month, let's say you bought 2 bus passes or 2 train passes. The bank could, if they jump in and say, hey, did you get married? Do you want to change your account into a joint account? See how that experience changes, and you need to monitor this on an individual basis. That is the challenge. That's what event helps you do. Questions? Interact. Right. So what we spoke about so far was all around saying, is there a pattern, and can I identify an outlier in a pattern? What Interact does is helps you engage with your customers on a real-time basis. Do you engage with companies on a real-time basis? Here, who do you engage with on a real-time basis? Anyone? No one? What do you do in real time? Let's pause till we figure out what we do in real time. What do we do in real time? All of us are customers, right? All of us are consumers. What do we do on real time? Anyone?
Shopping.
Shopping. Good. Who said that? Thank you, sir. Shopping. Anybody does anything else in real time? Shopping?
Stock market.
Sorry?
Stock market.
Stock market. Very good. Investing. Anything else in real time?
Booking tickets.
Booking tickets. Thank you. Anything else? You eat out at restaurants. Okay.
ATM transactions.
Sorry?
ATM transactions.
ATM transactions, good example. Any more?
Net banking transfer.
Huh?
Net banking.
Net banking, very good. Do we call up customer support? Yes, it's a real-time engagement that we have with whichever company. How often have you called a cell phone company? How often have you called a cable company, internet provider, support, Flipkart, delivery, FedEx, DHL, whatever all those things are? Bank. You have a lot of real-time interactions. During these real-time interactions, it's a huge opportunity for the company to pitch a service or a product to you, to understand you better. Because you've called in, you're a captive audience right now. I want to talk to the company. That's when you call in, right? It's not the company trying to reach you. Right? So given that, in real time, how do you, given that opportunity in real time, how do you figure out what's a nice offer to give? You're talking to me about, let us say, features. Let's say I'm a retail customer. I called up Rohan and I'm talking about, a camera that I bought, or a cell phone that I bought. Does that present an opportunity for me to sell a headset? Probably yes. And chances are that you'll buy it versus you're randomly walking on the road and I call up and say, "Aapko headset chahiye kya?" Will not. Please don't ever call me again. Right? So that's that's what Interact fundamentally helps you do, right? It helps you reach out to customers on a real-time basis, engage with them, present the right kind of offers. All of this in real time. So let's look at an example, right? How many here have used Flipkart? Show of hands. Those holding puffs in both hands, just raise both hands. So a fair amount of people have used Flipkart. So you log on to Flipkart, you land at the home page, and then there is some detail, and then there is no offer right up front, right? In real time, you could choose to drop an offer, right? Likewise, somebody calls into the call center, they get authenticated. Let's say there's an authentication thing. The reason you have authentication is I need to know who you are before I can do anything. And while there is a hold time, if there is a hold time, deliver an offer versus waiting on hold music. And then there's a reason for a call. Obviously, you are calling in. You go through the engagement, and then you figure out, okay, now is there an offer? It doesn't mean that every time somebody calls, you have to give an offer. Sometimes no offer also is a very good thing to do. Sometimes not being sold is a nice thing to have. Right? Here is something. Here's some info on how this works, right? And I think it's a nice illustration that we have over here. Give me 1 second. Right, wakes up, right? And you say who's logged in? It tells whatever website. Imagine this to be a Flipkart website. Imagine this to be an Amazon. Imagine this to be a bank's website. Imagine this to be an electronic store's website. Could be anything, right? Once that happens, IBM Interact then goes and figures out who you are. What is your purchase history? What are the different analytical scores that you have? In real time, it figures out what segment you are in. Are you earlier example? Are you a purchaser of shoes? Are you a purchaser of trousers, tops, jewelry? What you are? It figures that out really quick. Then it goes and figures out on your regular campaigns that you're doing, am I pushing something? In the earlier example I said, let's send out this trouser offer or whatever, the top offer. It says, okay, have I already pitched something? Because if I pitched, buy trousers, then in real time I shouldn't say buy jewelry. It's inconsistent messaging. So it figures out that as well, and then goes back with an offer which is relevant based on batch kind of campaigning. It takes that into account, figures out who you are, what your purchases are, and then comes about what is the relevant offer. There's a lot of science that goes on behind, so we'll look at it in a little bit of more detail here. The moment you log in, it goes in, it figures out, what is the customer profile. It's got the ability to go, for example, go figure out what your CIBIL score is, if you needed to figure that out, right? Once that happens, it says, okay, now based on this, here are the first potential offers that I can give out. You can also have pre-calculated decisions. You could have, this is a VIP customer, give him only this, don't give him anything, don't bother him. Let's say the CEO calls in, don't give him an offer. Don't push. You can do both whitelist and blacklist kind of thing. You can also work in parallel with existing segmentation that you have. Then you adjust. You say, out of these 10 offers, now I'm down to 8 offers that this person is eligible for. These offers, of course, can be at different levels, global, segment, individual. Then it's got a self-learning algorithm that figures out, what is the right offer for you based on different model scores. And goes and delivers that, to the customer. This it keeps track of. That's the self-learning piece. And then it also keeps track of these offers that have been delivered from a batch campaign perspective. Let's say online you engage with me, I offered the 10% off on trousers to you, and you said, no, I don't want it. Don't again send me a 10% off on trousers coupon in my batch email or SMS. I'm not going to consume it, I've already rejected it. Don't present the same thing. That's the whole idea here. And here's another example from a website perspective, how you see this go on in action, right? And somebody has searched or Java search, what all is going on there, figures out what are all the different offers, scores there, tells them which are all the offers, it starts populating what is going on. You can do an A/B test, you can do behavioral adjustment based on what it says. How IBM Interact is used, right? It's used for different things in here, increasing conversions, call centers it is used. It's used in branches, it's used in ATMs, point of sale. Point of sale is a huge thing from the retail perspective, right? When you're checking out, people are interested in throwing things over to you, and this becomes a huge option. Store kiosks is also a very interesting thing. I don't know how much we are seeing now, but at least there are more and more kiosks with which you can do things. Airline, classic offer, classic thing. When you go to check-in, go to a self-check-in. Hey, can I sell you a meal? Hey, can I sell you an upgrade? All of that can come in here. Hey, can I offer you a pre-buy discount on the same route? Right? I know that you do one day you come here and Friday you go back. How many people know Prashant? How many people know Prashant Mathur? Everybody knows Prashant Mathur, who he is? So all of us know that Prashant travels, Monday, Wednesday. It's a standard pattern. What if the airline really offered him a discount saying, next time please travel with us, I'll give you a 5% off? Would he, when he's checking in, right? Then he'll be ready to use that and travel the next time. And what the airline has is a guaranteed customer. It's a huge benefit. Instead of now they don't know if he's going to come next week or not on their particular airline. He may be traveling a different airline. Help you do all of that. Of course, you can send messages to mobile devices based on whatever your location is and right? Last but not least, Facebook ads. You can start delivering out contact optimization. Very, very interesting area. Takes a lot of marketing maturity to be able to do something like this. Right? It takes time, but what it fundamentally does is it figures out, which campaigns, which offers are the most relevant to you. UMO, right? From a UMO perspective, what it does is when you look at it over here, it ties down, marketing, project management. There's assets, right? Creatives that they call assets. You're referring to creatives. You can also track budgets. and how much did a campaign cost. Therefore, you can start looking at what are return on investments. And then campaign planning. This is a big area. The first and the last are the big areas that we sort of look out for, even from a CMO perspective. Right? How do I plan out what campaign, who's responsible for reviewing, what is going on, things like that. All of these things are very easy to do if you had only one campaign. You don't need these tools. But when you want to operate at a large scale, then you start needing these types of tools. Sorry. Here are some case studies. For of people. This is predominantly for banking sector kind of a case study. ING Bank marketing campaigns were ineffective. They adopted this particular tool set, and if you look at it, the benefits are very, very clear and in black and white. Huge amount of benefit. OCBC, a very large bank in Somalia area, they're looking at, look at the conversion rates, 40% conversion rates, right? When you have something like 40% conversion rates, it's not about talking to 10 lakh people and saying 4 lakhs converted. They're probably talking about, I spoke only to 1,000 people and got 400 to convert. But they were intelligent enough to identify those 1,000 people, using these tools, to create a surround sound, right? And then get this conversion rate. See, a lot of this is around creating surround sound. It's very important. Everybody understand what surround sound is? Yes? No?
No.
No? Okay. How many of us watch TV at home? Show of hands. Yeah, you watch TV at home? How many of us have a home theater at home? Got a home theater. How many speakers does a home theater have? 5 typically or more? Depending on. How many of us actually go to theaters? No theater? Is Kick releasing this weekend today or yesterday? Okay, now I know that people go. See, when you go to a theater, have you sometimes observed that when a motorcycle zooms past, you hear it zooming in the background as well, from a sound perspective, right? What is happening there is there are multiple speakers, and you're hearing the same sound from different speakers in a highly sequenced fashion. Okay? Fundamentally, that's what surround sound is all about. It surrounds you, it envelopes you in a great experience. Now, if you wanted to do surround sound, you cannot take 5 or 6 TVs and put it in around you. It will not give you surround sound. You are surrounded by speakers, but what you'll hear probably is garbage. You just hear noise. So if your communication is not synchronized fundamentally, then what you hear is noise. If it is synchronized, then you get surround sound. That's the whole idea here. And it's very important as we, as a company, when we think of campaigns, when we think of communicating with customers, it's very important that you have that surround sound. It's a really important thing for all of us to look at. And these are all some examples on how event-driven marketing jumps up, provides great returns. All these return rates are fantastic. That was the whole presentation for today. But your key takeaways, right, from what I want you to take away is, one, from a marketing perspective, from a one-on-one marketing, from a campaigning perspective, it is very important to create a synchronized surround sound effect for your customers. That is your objective. That is objective number one. So when you do campaigns, it is very important that you don't send conflicting offers. Don't send an offer saying, hey, buy shoe. Don't send an offer saying that say, no, buy a rainbow. Figure out what is the right thing that you want to sell, and message the same thing through all channels. Whatever, SMS, email, everything should say the same message. It's important. That is what is surround sound. From a campaigning perspective, it is a good campaign if you have a small audience size. If you're able to take a large population and filter it down to a small set that typically is representative of a better campaign. Just because you have millions of people in a list, it does not make it a good campaign. Number 3 is, if you do the first 2 things right over and over again, it is going to get very difficult, and that is when you need a solution like marketing automation. So that's the precondition, and that's the solution for the problem. And end goal is you're able to do in scale a lot of synchronized communication and engagement with your customers. That's what I want you to take off from today. Make sense? Thank you very much. Enjoy your benchmarks.